In today's world, where we're constantly connected, the idea of being alone can sometimes feel daunting, even unnatural. But here's a thought: what if the most empowering experiences come not from the noise and chaos of our lives, but from those quiet, solitary moments where it's just us and our thoughts? Self-reflection in solitude offers a chance to break away from the incessant noise of the world and delve deeply into our thoughts, values, and intentions. In our day-to-day lives, we are bombarded with countless opinions, expectations, and pressures. We are constantly engaging in activities, attending meetings, responding to messages, and fulfilling obligations. This whirlwind of activity can become so consuming that we start to lose touch with our true selves. Solitude and self-reflection, therefore, offer a much-needed pause, a sacred moment where we can press reset and reconnect with our authentic identity. In solitude, there is no pressure to perform, no one to impress, and no one whose expectations we need to meet. We are free to sit with our own thoughts, often unfiltered and raw. It is here that we begin to uncover the layers we may have accumulated over the years. The labels, roles, and expectations that others have placed on us start to fall away, revealing our core. This quiet time allows us to confront not just our dreams and aspirations, but also the fears and insecurities that we often suppress. It gives us the opportunity to ask ourselves, who am I when no one else is around? This question might seem simple, but it's profound. In answering it, we often confront parts of ourselves that we may have ignored, misunderstood, or even avoided. Solitude gives us the courage to face these aspects of ourselves without judgment. We begin to see our strengths and weaknesses clearly and accept them as part of our unique journey. In these quiet moments, we also start to uncover our values, those beliefs and principles that truly resonate with who we are. Away from the noise of social media, societal expectations, and peer influence, we can ask ourselves what really matters. This clarity can be incredibly grounding. It provides a compass for making decisions that are aligned with our inner values, rather than decisions that cater to external pressures. Self-reflection in solitude is not always easy. In fact, it can be uncomfortable. When we're alone, our minds might initially race through a stream of thoughts, bringing up worries, anxieties, or even regrets. But as we sit with these feelings and allow ourselves to truly experience them, a sense of peace and clarity often emerges. This process teaches us to be compassionate with ourselves. We learn that our self-worth isn't tied to our achievements or the approval of others. We start to recognize our intrinsic value, understanding that we are worthy of love, respect, and kindness simply because we exist. This newfound self-awareness is empowering. Once we understand our true values, beliefs, and goals, we are better equipped to make choices that are in alignment with who we are. We no longer feel the need to compromise our values to fit in or to seek approval from others. Instead, we stand firm, confident in our decisions, because they come from a place of authenticity. In this way, self-reflection in solitude nurtures our integrity, allowing us to live a life that is genuine, fulfilling, and aligned with our true selves. Through these reflective moments, we become more resilient. We realize that we don't need external validation to feel whole. We have everything we need within ourselves. Embracing vulnerability, especially in solitude, is a powerful and transformative act. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we open up to seeing, feeling, and accepting parts of ourselves that we might typically shy away from or hide in our busy lives. In a world that often celebrates confidence, strength, and control, vulnerability can feel like a risk. It requires courage to sit alone with our fears, insecurities, and doubts, facing them without distraction. But it is within this space of vulnerability that real growth and healing take root. Being alone with our vulnerabilities forces us to confront aspects of ourselves that we may have ignored or hidden for fear of judgment. There are no filters in these moments, no people to reassure us or distract us. Instead, it's just us, raw and unfiltered. This can be unsettling, as we are often used to wearing a mask to the world, showing only the parts we think others will find acceptable. But in solitude, we have the chance to take off this mask and meet ourselves just as we are. In this way, vulnerability becomes a bridge between who we think we should be and who we truly are. When we embrace vulnerability, we give ourselves permission to feel emotions we might otherwise suppress. Whether it's fear, sadness, disappointment, or loneliness, these feelings can be uncomfortable. But allowing ourselves to experience them fully helps us process and release them. Vulnerability is not about wallowing in pain. It's about acknowledging our humanity. It's accepting that we, like everyone else, have struggles and fears. This recognition is humbling and empowering at the same time because it reminds us that we are not alone in our experiences. Everyone has their battles, and by accepting our own, we become more compassionate toward ourselves and others. This acceptance, though challenging, leads to a profound shift in our relationship with ourselves. Vulnerability helps us build a stronger foundation of self-worth. By facing our insecurities without judgment, we start to see them not as flaws, but as part of the complex and beautiful fabric of who we are. Our worth is not diminished by these insecurities, rather, it is reinforced by our willingness to accept and embrace them. We begin to understand that true strength comes not from masking our fears, but from acknowledging them openly, even if only to ourselves. In these moments, we gain confidence not in a superficial way, but in a deeply rooted sense that we are enough just as we are. Through embracing vulnerability, we also develop resilience. When we realize that we can face our fears and come out on the other side, we grow stronger. Vulnerability teaches us that we don't need to be perfect to be worthy of love and acceptance. In fact, our imperfections and struggles make us more relatable, more real. This understanding frees us from the burden of perfectionism, allowing us to show up authentically in all areas of our lives. Instead of spending energy trying to appear invulnerable, we can redirect it toward things that truly matter: personal growth, meaningful relationships, and purposeful living. By embracing vulnerability, we cultivate a space within ourselves where growth can happen. We develop the courage to pursue things that might have scared us before. We learn to approach life with openness, accepting the ups and downs as part of our journey. Through solitude and vulnerability, we become more grounded, resilient, and at peace with who we are. Building resilience is about developing the inner strength to withstand life's challenges and setbacks, and it often begins when we face adversity alone. Solitude can be a powerful teacher in this process, as it removes external influences and distractions, allowing us to draw on our own resources. Without the immediate support of others, we learn to rely on ourselves, finding ways to cope, adapt, and push forward, even in difficult circumstances. This process builds a resilience rooted in self-trust, teaching us that, regardless of what we face, we are capable of handling it. When we experience hardship, there's an initial instinct to seek comfort and reassurance from others. While connection and support are invaluable, resilience often emerges from our ability to endure challenges independently. It's in the solitude of our struggles that we learn to confront uncomfortable emotions, fear, frustration, even despair. Instead of avoiding these feelings, resilience invites us to face them, to sit with them, and ultimately to understand them. This isn't easy. It requires courage and patience. But by enduring these moments on our own, we gain a deeper sense of self-awareness, understanding what triggers our pain and what helps us heal. Resilience also involves learning to adapt. Life doesn't always go as planned, and unexpected events can shake us to our core. When we're alone, we have no choice but to figure out a way forward. This forces us to develop flexibility, the capacity to change our plans and shift our perspectives. It teaches us that life's roadblocks don't define us, rather, how we navigate them shapes who we become. Through resilience, we learn to see obstacles not as insurmountable barriers, but as opportunities for growth and learning. We come to understand that every setback carries within it a lesson, something that, if embraced, can make us stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. In solitude, resilience is also built through self-compassion. When we face challenges, it's easy to be hard on ourselves, to criticize or question our worth. But resilience teaches us that self-compassion is essential. We come to realize that we don't have to be perfect to persevere. When we treat ourselves with kindness, we allow room for mistakes and setbacks, seeing them as part of the journey rather than failures. This gentleness toward ourselves strengthens our resilience because it reinforces the idea that we are worthy of patience and love, even in our struggles. Resilience also involves a degree of hope, a belief that no matter how dark things may seem, there is light ahead. In moments of solitude, we often have to create this hope within ourselves. We learn to find meaning in small victories, to hold onto the belief that the difficulty we face today is temporary, and that tomorrow can bring new possibilities. This self-generated hope keeps us moving forward, reminding us that resilience isn't just about surviving challenges, it's about maintaining faith in the journey. Through building resilience in solitude, we emerge with a greater sense of inner strength and confidence. We no longer fear being alone with our struggles because we know we are capable of navigating them. Fostering creativity and discovering a sense of purpose often happen most naturally when we find ourselves in solitude. In the quiet of our own company, the usual demands and distractions of life fade away, and our minds have the freedom to wander, explore, and connect ideas in ways that they rarely can amid the noise. Creativity thrives in these moments because we are free from the pressures of judgment or expectation. We're not creating to meet anyone else's standards or deadlines, we're simply allowing ideas to arise and take shape on their own. This mental space is a fertile ground for innovation, where the mind can roam freely, stumble upon new ideas, and develop solutions or insights that would be difficult to reach in a busy, structured environment. Alone, we're free to think expansively, tapping into the raw potential of our own imaginations. Many creative breakthroughs happen in these moments of solitude, where we're able to let go of conventional ways of thinking and approach ideas from fresh perspectives. Without anyone else's input or influence, we can experiment without reservation. This openness makes solitude a prime environment for self-expression. We can allow ourselves to make mistakes, try out new concepts, or pursue unconventional ideas without fear. This process of unrestricted exploration fosters creativity because it encourages us to be authentic, tapping into the parts of ourselves that might otherwise be kept hidden or limited. Beyond creativity, solitude also allows us to tune into our sense of purpose. When we take the time to listen to ourselves in quiet moments, we start to uncover the things that truly matter to us, not just what society, friends, or family tell us should matter. Purpose is rooted in personal values, passions, and a vision for how we want to contribute to the world. And these elements are often hard to identify when we're caught up in the expectations of others. By spending time alone, we gain clarity on what fulfills us on a deeper level. We can start to ask ourselves important questions. What do I love doing? What kind of life would bring me meaning? How can I make a difference? Solitude allows these questions to surface naturally, and in reflecting on them, we begin to see the seeds of our purpose. As we dive into these reflective moments, our sense of purpose gradually takes shape. It might be sparked by a memory, a hobby, or a dream that's been tucked away for years. It could emerge through the simple joy of creating something, whether that's art, music, writing, or even ideas for future projects. These activities bring us closer to our true selves, revealing what feels rewarding and meaningful. Solitude makes room for this discovery, showing us what resonates with our core values and providing the courage to pursue these callings. Over time, as we continue to foster creativity and purpose in solitude, we build a roadmap to a more fulfilling life. We learn to listen to our own voices over the noise, to pursue goals that are aligned with our personal vision. This journey isn't about meeting expectations, but about following the natural curiosity and passion that emerge when we are alone. It's a process that nurtures authenticity, resilience, and joy, essential qualities that bring purpose and meaning into everything we do. Finding freedom from external approval is a liberating journey that allows us to reclaim our personal power and live more authentically. Many of us, consciously or unconsciously, seek the approval of others throughout our lives, often adjusting our behaviors, beliefs, and decisions to fit the expectations of family, friends, colleagues, or society at large. This need for validation becomes deeply ingrained, shaping our identities and choices in subtle but powerful ways. Yet when we begin to cultivate a life that isn't dependent on others' approval, we open up a space to discover and embrace who we truly are. One of the most profound shifts in moving away from external validation is learning to trust our inner voice. In the pursuit of others' acceptance, we frequently put aside our own thoughts, intuition, and preferences. Instead of trusting our inner guidance, we might look to others for signs that we're on the right path or that our decisions are acceptable. When we step back from this need for validation, we begin to realize that our inner voice often knows what's best for us. By focusing on what resonates with us rather than what impresses others, we develop a stronger connection to our true selves. This process of self-trust nurtures a sense of independence, empowering us to make choices that are aligned with our personal values and desires, rather than conforming to the expectations around us. Breaking free from the need for external approval also fosters resilience. Living for others' validation can be exhausting, as it often means altering or suppressing parts of ourselves to fit in or meet certain standards. But when we stop relying on others to affirm our worth, we become more resilient in the face of criticism or disapproval. We learn that others' opinions do not define our value or our success, which strengthens our confidence and self-worth. This resilience allows us to navigate life's challenges without feeling the need to explain or justify ourselves. We gain a powerful sense of self, one that isn't swayed by external opinions or societal pressures. This freedom also nurtures authenticity. When we are no longer focused on seeking approval, we have the freedom to express ourselves more fully and openly. We no longer feel the need to hide parts of who we are or put on a facade to fit in. Instead, we can embrace our quirks, our passions, and our unique perspectives without fear of judgment. This authenticity attracts relationships and experiences that are aligned with our true selves, creating a more fulfilling and genuine life. By letting go of the need for others' approval, we create space for deeper, more meaningful connections, ones based on mutual respect and understanding, rather than the need for validation. Perhaps one of the greatest rewards of finding freedom from external approval is the sense of inner peace it brings. Living for others' validation can create a constant state of tension, as we're always evaluating how we measure up or how our actions will be perceived. But when we let go of this need, a sense of calm settles in. We no longer worry about meeting expectations or fitting into certain molds. Instead, we feel at ease knowing that we're living in alignment with our own truth. This inner peace allows us to be present, fully engaged with life without the distraction of worrying about how we're perceived. The journey to freedom from external approval is challenging but profoundly rewarding. It allows us to reclaim our lives, to live more intentionally, and to foster a deeper sense of self-worth that isn't dependent on others. This journey is one of self-discovery, resilience, and empowerment, where we learn to live not for others, but for ourselves, honoring our unique path with courage and grace. Strengthening relationships begins with nurturing a healthy relationship with ourselves, as this forms the foundation for how we connect with others. When we invest time in self-reflection and solitude, we gain a clearer understanding of our own needs, values, and boundaries, which empowers us to approach relationships with authenticity and openness. Rather than seeking validation or fulfillment solely through others, we bring a sense of wholeness and self-awareness that enriches our connections. This inner stability allows us to engage more fully and genuinely, without relying on others to complete us or meet every emotional need. Relationships rooted in mutual respect and individuality foster a deeper, more sustainable connection. One key component in strengthening relationships is effective communication, which is often enhanced by a strong sense of self. When we're clear on our values and feelings, we can express ourselves openly and honestly. This honesty paves the way for trust, as both parties feel safe sharing their true thoughts without fear of judgment. Clear communication allows us to be both vulnerable and assertive, acknowledging our needs while respecting the boundaries of others. This blend of openness and respect creates an atmosphere where misunderstandings are minimized and each person feels heard and valued. Relationships also grow stronger through empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. Solitude and self-reflection often deepen our capacity for empathy, as we become more attuned to our own emotional landscape and, by extension, more sensitive to the emotions of those around us. When we take time to explore and understand our own feelings, we become more skilled at recognizing similar emotions in others. Empathy creates a bridge between people, allowing for a deeper level of connection that transcends surface-level interactions. It's through empathy that we can truly see each other, validating each person's experience and fostering a supportive environment. Another powerful element in strengthening relationships is setting and respecting boundaries. Healthy relationships are based on a balance of closeness and individuality. By understanding and communicating our own boundaries, we ensure that relationships don't become overwhelming or one-sided. Likewise, respecting the boundaries of others shows that we value their autonomy and individuality. Boundaries create a structure within which relationships can thrive, as they allow both people to feel secure and respected. This structure encourages individuals to bring their best selves to the relationship, knowing that their personal needs and limitations are honored. Trust is a cornerstone of any strong relationship, and it is built through consistency, honesty, and integrity. When we take time alone to understand and strengthen our character, we bring a sense of reliability to our relationships. Trust grows when people know they can rely on us to be who we say we are, to do what we say we will do, and to stand by our values. Trust takes time to build but is easily broken, so committing to honesty and integrity in every interaction reinforces a relationship's foundation. Trust allows people to feel safe, and safety enables deeper connection. Lastly, investing in relationships involves intentional time and effort. Just as solitude helps us grow individually, quality time spent together nurtures shared experiences and memories. Whether through small gestures, acts of kindness, or simply being present, showing up consistently for the people we care about communicates love and commitment. Strong relationships are built through the cumulative effect of these everyday actions. These shared moments strengthen the emotional bond and create a sense of belonging, knowing that we are part of each other's lives in meaningful ways. By cultivating self-awareness, practicing empathy, setting boundaries, building trust, and investing time, we lay the groundwork for relationships that are resilient, meaningful, and fulfilling. In nurturing relationships, we create connections that are grounded in authenticity, respect, and mutual understanding. When we bring self-awareness and empathy to our interactions, we build bridges that are strengthened by trust and protected by healthy boundaries. These elements allow us to be fully present, fostering bonds that endure through life's inevitable challenges. Relationships flourish when we invest in them with intention, kindness, and a commitment to growth both within ourselves and with each other. Ultimately, the strongest relationships are those where we feel seen, valued, and supported, knowing we're able to show up as our true selves, unconditionally embraced by those who matter most.